Way to think of OneNote is like a digital version of the physical notebooks we've all been using forever, like the one here at the upper right of my screen. It uses the same conceptual layout. In OneNote, all of your notes are stored in OneDrive so that they're accessible to you anywhere you are. So there's a little diagram here explaining what that means. So this is the cloud. This is Microsoft's OneDrive. And anything you put in OneNote is stored in OneDrive. And what that enables is you can get to your notes from any of your devices. So if you create a note here on your laptop and then later on you need to look at it, and you can look at it from your phone, change it from your phone. You can go back and look at it from your desktop, or you can log in from somewhere else and access it. It also allows you to do real-time collaboration with other people. So if you've shared your OneNote with me, I could be working on it here and you're working on it over here. We could be working on the same note at the same time. But since everything is stored in the cloud, everything is automatically synced in real time. Questions about that background information? All right.
Wait, I do have a question.
Yeah, Lena.
Maybe it's not appropriate right now, but I'm so confused. OneNote and Notions, are they the same thing?
They are not their competitors. They do the same thing, but they are not the same product.
Okay, but they do the same thing.
They do the same thing, yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, in fact, that's a good segue to the next slide. I think is, yeah, there are similar note-taking apps, and we have classes on all of these. Google Keep is Google's note-taking tool. Evernote is an independent product that's been around a long time. Apple has Apple Notes, its note-taking tool. OneNote, which is our class today, and Lena mentioned something called Notion, which is another note-taking tool. Lots and lots of overlap among the five of them. These three are really more targeted to personal use, I think, primarily, whereas OneNote and Notion are somewhat targeted to businesses and larger organizations. They can certainly support those types of applications, but they can both be used for personal use as well. So in terms of complexity, I say these three are fairly simple. OneNote has more capabilities than these, and Notion is the most complex, which means it's got the most capabilities.
Wait, can I also ask something?
Nita,
yeah. Can I also ask a question, please?
Sure.
What is OneNote backed by?
Microsoft.
Microsoft, okay. And it comes pretty much inbuilt, because even my Android phone and my laptop, they have an inbuilt. So is that the commonest?
Yes. In fact, that's a good segue to the next slide.
Okay.
How do you access OneNote? And OneNote is built into any device you have that runs Windows. So if you got a laptop, a desktop, it is included for free with the Windows operating system, Windows 10 or Windows 11, depending on which one you're using. It is, and I had forgotten because I don't have an Android, but it is included in the Android operating system, you said? I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, okay. Because I didn't download it. It came, with the handset.
Okay, all right. If you have a Mac, it doesn't come with a Mac, but you can download the OneNote app and put it on your Mac. And again, that is free. You just have to have a Microsoft account. And you can access it from any browser. There is a browser version of OneNote. So you can go to the public library and go to one of the computers and just type onenote.com. And it will ask for your username and password, and you can log into OneNote from a browser. So lots and lots of ways to access it. I also mentioned that you can download it, the mobile app, to your smartphone or tablet. If it's not already there, I have an iPhone, but I just downloaded the OneNote's mobile app to my iPhone. And let me just show you that one real quick. So here's OneNote. So I can get into OneNote from my phone. We may come back later at the end of the class when we've talked more about it, so it'll make more sense what you're looking at, but that's the accessing it from your phone. So lots of ways to get to OneNote. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the structure of OneNote before we get into the app. I mentioned that it uses the same analogy as a physical notebook, where you've got a notebook. You may have several up on the shelf. You take one down, you open it up, and there's typically tabs in that notebook, separating it into sections. And then within sections, you've got pages where you're entering your information. One thing that I like about OneNote compared to Notion and some of the others is, this is very simple for all of us to understand. So it makes the organization, I think, very simple to use. So again, the notebook is the highest level of storage, and you can have multiple notebooks based on categories. You could have a work notebook, a personal notebook, a family notebook, a church notebook, whatever and how many you want. And then you've got sections and pages. So now's a good time to actually open OneNote, and I'm going to use the Windows app. So I'm just going to click here on the start menu and go to all apps and go down to OneNote. So again, if you've got Windows device, it is in here automatically. If you have a Mac, you would have to download it. And one thing that is a little confusing about OneNote, especially if you've been using Windows for a long time, there's about 3 or 4 different versions of OneNote out there. And you can see on my screen, there's OneNote, and then there's OneNote for Windows. This is an old version. This was originally OneNote 2016. It is still out there. It still works. But this is the one that Microsoft is promoting at this point. So that's the one we're going to use. It's the one that seems to be getting the most attention and the most updates. And I think it's the easiest to use. And it is the one that comes with Windows. So if you go to the same place I did, you won't see this one. You'll just see this one. Now, if you're on Windows 11 and you bought a Windows 11 device, I think it just says OneNote for Windows, not OneNote for Windows 10. So that part can get a little confusing. I'm just going to click there, and that opens my OneNote. So let's talk about these sections again. Yes.
Thank you for clarifying. Yeah, because I have Windows 11. So what you're saying is it won't say Windows 11, it would say Windows.
It would just say Windows instead of Windows 10. It's the same. When it opens, it's going to look identical. I don't think there's any differences